I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
We often fall in love with the image of a star, forgetting that behind the spotlight, there is someone who is quietly hurting. Today, it's not just the stage that's shaking, it's the system itself. Because for the first time, Kim Taehyung, known as V from BTS, has chosen not to remain silent. He spoke up, and the world listened. In an industry built on false perfection, an idol's calmness is often misinterpreted as compliance. But this time, Taehyung chose a different path. In an unexpected exclusive interview, he revealed things that had been buried in his silence all along. "There's a limit to every patience," he said, "and I think I've been silent for too long." It wasn't just an expression of frustration. It was the voice of an artist who had lived for years within the confines of the entertainment industry's massive system. Behind the polite smile on camera, there were wounds invisible to the public eye. The glitter of the stage and the shadows of the system. Up until now, we've seen BTS as a solid unit, supporting each other, performing in harmony, and always united in every step. But behind those global achievements lies another story that's never come to the surface. Taehyung subtly, yet firmly touches on the reality behind the scenes. We're not always free to choose. There are many things we have to do, not because we want to, but because we're told to. He describes the entertainment industry not as a home, but more like a golden cage, luxurious on the outside, but restrictive on the inside. He addresses the inhumane system, unilateral decisions made without the artist's input, and the frustration of being treated like a commodity rather than an individual. Creativity restricted and songs held back. One of the most shocking revelations was that many of his solo works were rejected or delayed. Taehyung kept many song demos, poems, and lyrics he created with all his heart, but they were never given the chance to be heard by the public. "I want to show another side of myself, but there's always this or that reason. My creativity feels suffocated by the system." His words describe a deep inner conflict between the desire to persevere and the need to be honest with himself. Not about attacking, but revealing the truth. Taehyung did not use this moment to blame or bring anyone down. He maintained his respect for HYBE and all the achievements they had accomplished together. But for Taehyung, respecting doesn't mean turning a blind eye to reality. "I just want to be honest with myself and with all of you." He also mentioned that the BTS members know his heart and have given their support. Though their paths forward may differ, trust remains. Unlimited support from ARMY. Within hours of the interview being released, the internet exploded. Hashtags like #WeStandWithTaehyung and #YouAreNotAloneV dominated global trending topics. ARMY, known for being the most solid and vocal fanbase, immediately offered full support. For them, this isn't about division. It's about courage. About an idol's voice finally being heard without industry filters. The big question, where will Taehyung go next? Is this a sign that Taehyung will leave HYBE? Or will he start his own label? Or perhaps he will choose an independent path like some other major artists? Taehyung hasn't given a definitive answer. But one thing is clear. I will continue to make music, but from now on in my own way. Behind the spotlight, there's a lost soul. One of the most touching parts of the interview was when Taehyung spoke about mental pressure. He described how a hectic schedule and losing control over his life made him feel empty. "There were days when I woke up, and it felt empty. Not because I didn't love music, but because I felt like my life wasn't mine anymore." Those words cut deep, because it turns out, even at the peak of fame, someone can feel incredibly alone. Not just courage, this is a call to action. Sharing all this publicly isn't easy, especially for someone like Taehyung, whose life is watched by millions of eyes. He knows the risks are high, he could be labeled disloyal, he could be hated by some people. But he still takes the step, because in his view, it's not just about courage. It's about a calling. "I don't regret the past. It all shaped who I am today. But I don't want to keep living in the shadows." Meanwhile, turmoil within HYBE. After Taehyung's confession went viral, a number of Korean journalists revealed that tension between artists and management was not new at HYBE. But Taehyung was the first member of BTS to openly express his concerns. An industry source even stated, "It's been rumored for a long time that Taehyung wanted more artistic freedom, but the company has its own agenda. Now, the friction can no longer be hidden." HYBE has not issued an official statement, but the public and media continue to wait. Many are beginning to question again. To what extent does an artist have control within such a large agency? A new chapter begins. The night after the interview was released, Taehyung posted a single brief sentence on social media. "Tonight, I breathe a sigh of relief. Thank you for listening. This is just the beginning." The words were not grand, but they carried extraordinary power. Among the thousands of comments, one phrase repeated itself. "We're with you. Never be afraid to be yourself." The world is now waiting, not just for Taehyung's new work, but for a new chapter from an artist who has finally chosen to stand on his own stage. What began as a personal confession has now evolved into a larger movement. Taehyung's influence cannot be underestimated. One sentence from him can shake the industry. One act of honesty from him can ignite thousands of other voices that once chose to remain silent. Across various platforms, from X, Twitter, Weverse, to international fan forums like Reddit and the KPOP, discussions about artists' rights and creative freedom have exploded. Many K-pop fans from other fandoms have also spoken out. They see Taehyung not just as a member of BTS, but as a symbol of change. The domino effect of Taehyung's statement is beginning to be felt. Some fourth-generation idols are quietly liking or sharing posts supporting freedom of expression. Some are even seen uploading lyrics or song demos that were previously stored only on their personal hard drives. This is no longer about one tired star. It's about paving the way for many young stars who don't yet know how to shine without being fully guided by the system. Taehyung may not call himself a leader of change, but his honest actions have become a beacon, showing that we all deserve our own voice. Despite remaining silent, pressure on HYBE is growing. The company's stock showed minor fluctuations after Taehyung's interview was released. Shareholders, industry analysts, and even cultural observers are beginning to question one crucial thing. Will HYBE continue to enforce the old system, or begin to open new spaces for the artists they manage? In a leaked investigative report, it was mentioned that some internal HYBE staff are also beginning to question the overly rigid creative process. Some expressed exhaustion from constantly having to maintain the image, rather than allowing room for exploration. And amidst all this, Taehyung stands like a flagpole in a storm. He doesn't waver, but what he does causes the entire system around him to begin shaking. A few days after the interview was released, Taehyung uploaded a 37-second short video clip to his personal account. No caption, just a gray studio backdrop, soft piano music, and a faint smile at the end of the video. ARMY quickly caught on. This wasn't just a teaser for a new song. It was a symbol that Taehyung was taking back control of the art he created. Taehyung may have achieved everything many people dream of: global fame, prestigious awards, wealth, and the love of millions of fans. But what he truly needed was simply to be himself. And today, he finally embraced that freedom. Not with a shout, but with honesty. K-pop news will continue to follow this development. Will Taehyung really start his own label? Will HYBE change its system? And what will be the long-term impact of this statement on the next generation of idols? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates from the world of K-pop.